Hi, everybody. I want to go over the Building Argumentative Research Questions and Reasons assignment in English 102 to maybe clarify a little bit about how you need to do this assignment. So what we're doing, this is the start of Unit 3, which is our argumentative research essay. So now you're going to be taking a position on the debatable topic or issue that you've been discussing and investigating in Units 1 and 2. In Unit 2, you probably weighed in on your position, and now here in Unit 3, you're going to argue for it. So what we're doing in this first assignment is brainstorming and try to formulate the reasons that your position is correct. And this will help you look for additional sources, and it will also help you to support and argue for your position. So for this assignment, you are creating your own document. So you can make a Google Doc or a Word doc, but you're going to include the information that's explained here in the assignment. There's a little sample response here that I think shows you what you're going to do, and then it's explained here in the how section of, the how section of the paper, of the assignment. All right, so what you have on this document is some research questions that help you probe the reasoning behind your position on the issue. You're going to actually formulate your thesis, which is your position on the issue. You're going to develop about 4, maybe 5 if you can, reasons that support your side and would convince others to do so. And then you're going to investigate the implied or underlying values of those who are interested in this issue. Now, even though it says first create the research questions, what I suggest is doing this document the following way. First, start with your thesis. You've already investigated the issue in Unit 1. You've looked at both sides in Unit 2, and you've formulated which side you are weighing in on. So here, do this first. This should be a complete sentence that will express your position on the issue. So here the issue is multitasking and whether it's good or bad. And so your position here is multitasking between recreational technology and studying impairs student learning and does not prepare them for the real world of work. And you don't really have to include reasons in your thesis. You really can just focus in on your position. In other words, multitasking between recreational technology and studying is not advisable. And frankly, that would be your thesis. Then you want to think about, well, why? What are the reasons that would support that position? Well, because multitasking increases the amount of time spent studying. Because switching tasks requires relearning. And because multitasking is poor preparation for the workplace. And finally, because it decreases worker productivity. So here we have 4 distinct reasons why multitasking is not a good idea. When you write your reasons, please use the because clauses. I think that helps you focus more and express it in a way that's going to work. Please come up with at least 4 possible reasons to support, even maybe 5 if you can. When I go over this, I may be tweaking those. Maybe some of them won't work. Maybe 2 of them really are saying the same thing in a different way. So they need to be distinct. So 4 at least, maybe 5. All right, at this point then, go back to your research questions and make those research questions more focused on your reasons. This way you can use your research questions to help you look for more information. So one research question would be, how does multitasking affect time spent studying? How does multitasking affect learning or even relearning? How does multitasking relate to workplace requirements? How does multitasking impact worker productivity? So I would use your reasons for your research questions. Now, if you just come up with research questions that aren't exactly tied to it, go ahead. But that's kind of what I'm looking for, and I'll probably be tweaking your questions so that they are helpful when you are looking for specific information to find supporting evidence for those reasons. So I would start with 2, go to 3, then go to your research questions. And then finally, the implied or underlying values of the audience. These are not your reasons. These are not tied directly to your position. What we're looking for are the underlying philosophies, principles, beliefs, and values of those looking at this issue. So being a hard worker, focusing on tasks, getting a quality education, those are values. They apply to multitasking, but you can see that multitasking is not in here directly. So these are philosophies, values, beliefs that tie into anyone who is thinking about this issue. 3 would be certainly sufficient. But again, if you replace it or just say the reasons again or something specific for your position, that's not what we're looking for here. We're looking for the underlying values, philosophies. All right, so create your document and then you'll be submitting it in D2L for this assignment. All right, hopefully that's helpful.